Jordan, very good to see you. We are talking about the retirement red zone, 5 money moves that you should make now. Of course, the retirement red zone is generally known as the 3 to 7 years before you retire. It's a critical time when investment decisions and market fluctuations can have a significant impact on your financial security. So the first step is to define your budget and expenses, but only 40% of people have ever calculated what they'll need to live on in retirement.
Yeah, this is a hard thing to do for many couples and individuals because people enjoy life. They got credit cards, they got expenses, they have a mortgage. So one way we like to say to people is, hey, you can take a list and do a very detailed dive of knowing what your costs are, which is, like you said, 40% really know that. Or sometimes we kind of reverse engineer this where we look at their cash flow. How much do you make? Okay, how much are we saving or how much are we dipping into our reserves? And then we can kind of back into that number to know what do we need to live a good lifestyle and to satisfy our needs.
Right, so important. And it's also related to step number 2 here, which is define your sources of guaranteed income.
Yeah, for many people, the biggest source of guaranteed income is Social Security. And
Right.
we'll talk maybe more on that later, but also maybe they have a pension or maybe they have some other annuities that are giving them guaranteed income, but know where your guaranteed income is coming from. And then you got to calculate, hey, if my guaranteed income is here and my expenses are here, I have a gap I got to fill. And we need to create a strategy and a plan around that to make sure we satisfy that gap, to make sure you enjoy life and make sure all those expenses are taken care of.
Right, exactly. And just to say it again, because it is so important, when you know what's going out and you know what's coming in, that gap, it's often known as the retirement gap. You have to figure out how to bridge that gap. So, Jordan, what are some strategies that people can employ so that, again, they can live the lifestyle that they want in retirement?
Yeah, and most people, they just have their investments here, here, and here, or they're tied to the market, and the market's down, and they're forced to fill that gap, so to speak, the retirement gap. They sell, and maybe they sell at a loss. So we have a philosophy in our firm to make sure they never have to sell at a loss, which is really to divine your money to what it's aligned to do for you and your family. So we put some money in a safe bucket, some money designed for income that specifically covers that gap, that retirement gap, to make sure all your lifestyle funds are taken care of. And then the third bucket's your growth bucket. And when the market fluctuates, you're never going to be forced to sell at a loss because you already have the income taken care of. So they can make sure they have a plan. They can make sure they use a variety of different investment sources to kind of get income from. If people are more conservative, they might like more guaranteed income. If some people are more aggressive, maybe they want to use dividend stocks, structured notes, different investment tools to get them that income as well. But as long as you have a plan and you can fill that gap, that's going to create confidence and clarity in the retirement future.
Right. And because it is so important, I want to circle back on Social Security because this is going to be one of the most important decisions you make in retirement. And of course, this is something that you specialize in, Jordan, helping people optimize when they claim. There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, you see there we get a reduction at 62 if we take it early, but if we wait to 70, we get the biggest paycheck. But there's so many variables that go into this. Yes, we try to optimize this based on the numbers in your overall plan, but there's some other factors that we also have to look at. What is your history of health? Are you in good health? If your family history, if everyone in your family passes away at 65, there's a good probability we're going to recommend you take it at 62. What if it's a husband and wife and the husband says, I'm done working, he's 62, I'm taking the benefits? His wife has worked for decades too, raising the house and the kids and taking care of everything, but her benefits aren't as high. So if he, God forbid, takes it sooner, then he passes away, she might be left with a reduced benefit for many more decades to come.
Right.
Or you wait to 70, you get the biggest pile, but you pass away at 75, you didn't get the biggest pile of money. So we got to coordinate this with the overall plan and also look at the tax component of that Social Security being taxable inside the plan.
I'm glad you brought up taxes, of course, because that is last on our list. You do have to consider taxes, which will be one of your biggest expenses in retirement, but you can take action now to reduce that bill by thousands in retirement.
Yeah, and that retirement red zone, that 3 to 7 years, this is a great opportunity to look at everything, look at your future tax forecast, and make sure you have a plan around this. We have a process, our safe and secure retirement roadmap, and I just want to really zoom in on that middle section there, tax planning, right? We think every investment decision, every financial decision has a direct implication. Because if you have too much income or dividends from your investments, capital gains, that affects your taxes. If you have too much income from RMDs or required minimum distributions or distributions from IRAs, that might put you in a higher bracket or higher tax rates. Or maybe you have so much income that pushes you into a higher IRMA bracket for healthcare costs and Medicare, or you've done so well for yourself that when that asset transfers to the next generation, you might be paying estate taxes, which could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So everything revolves around tax planning. And right before in early stages of retirement, there's a lot of opportunity to pay the least amount of taxes, not just for 1 or 2 years, but over your lifetime.
Right. That's exactly why it matters. Well, Jordan, after having this conversation, it is clear that proactive planning is key and, again, crucial in that red zone. So if somebody wants to talk through these strategies with you, of course, we have many more videos on your YouTube page, which kind of discuss all of these in depth. But if they'd like to schedule a phone call, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, first I'll just say we talked about the red zone, right? That end zone. Well, many people that they like football and you're a football fan and you're up big in the game, that team is usually not throwing that deep Hail Mary pass because they already won the game. And for many people watching this video right now, you have already won the game. You don't need to take excessive risk. You don't need to take a lot of risk in the stock market and do these different things. You just got to do the simple things well, minimize your taxes, minimize your risk, so you can score in that end zone and that you can win the game. And to start that journey, and hopefully we can be assistant on that journey, you can call our main number, 847-499-3454.
Great. Jordan, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron.